you might be able to see here, this is not the best vinyl that we're actually removing. It's leaving a hell of a lot of like rubberized glue. It's obviously got quite cheap backing to it. So this is not ideal on a Monday morning. We've washed the booth out, we've cleaned everything, and now we are getting literally glue residue absolutely everywhere. So give us a few hours, guys. We're going to clean the booth back out, wash the floors again, and hopefully we can start some machine work. So we're actually on 12:30 now. We've used pretty much full bottle of Bedazzled, our tar and glue remover. Still couldn't get every little bit of the glue from the bonnet on these stripes. I honestly don't know why. When I have looked, the glue has actually eaten into the paint a little bit, so we're really going to have to buff this quite heavily to be able to get that out. And now we're left with all this mess, basically from using a toffee wheel, because it's the only option I had to get the last bits off. So now we're going to air blow the car, wipe the booth back down, see if there's any last bits of residue, and then I'm going to have to crack on and actually get the buffer out on the bonnet and try and make sure there is no etching on those lines on there, or back to square one. So the problem we've currently got, we got all the glue off this side quite well. It came off quite easy in comparison to this side. The issue I've had on here is, regardless of how many times I've buffed it, I've actually wet sanded some of it, and I've used some sort of wool pads and some denim pads. There is glue patches that are actually in the paint, so what it's actually done is eaten away at the clear coat and put like an etching into it, and it also looks like heavy scratches. Every time we cut it, it's gone. 20 minutes later it comes back. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to try it one more time tonight. The panels are getting extremely hot. It's obviously one of the hottest days of the year that they're saying 38, 40 degrees. The booth, I've even got the fascia open and the fan on because it's actually cooking in here. The buffer's getting hot, the panel's getting hot. We're having to be a little bit careful about how much heat strain we put on the bonnet. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to cut this one more time. I'm going to go over it with the flex because we tend to use rotary here, not really dual action. I did try this side with the dual action, I just didn't get the finish I wanted, so I'm back to the rotary. So we're going to try one more side on here, then I'm going to jump onto the roof, get the roof finished tonight, and then I'm going to have a look at the bonnet in the morning because I'm pretty certain the marks are going to come back again, and we're going to have to just keep going at it lightly while it's a little bit cooler, so we're going to try it again in the morning. So I'm going to jump on here now, get the roof done, call it a day, and then we're going to check the bonnet in the morning. So, as I expected, but I was kind of hoping wouldn't be the case, this side here has literally still got a perfect line, and it looks like literally sanding marks inside the actual, on the paint itself. I've not seen it like this before. I've seen where paint has etched in, where the glue's stuck to it, but this has literally got like scotch marks everywhere. I honestly don't know how I'm going to get it out now, because I have tried sort of 6 times yesterday to try and actually get this paint down. I have even sanded some of it, so now I'm going to be back on. I'm going to be sanding again, using it with the smaller flex tool so I can put a little bit more speed to it and focus on that area. And we're going to have one more try to see how we can actually get those marks out, because really what we don't want to be doing is putting the stickers back on for the customer. He really did want them off, so we need to try and just give it one more chance. Hopefully we can get some better finish on here and actually improve it, if not get it perfect. So fingers crossed, let's see how we get on. So what we're actually doing something right now is a little bit old school. Now a lot of you guys have probably heard of the word, and a lot of detailers out there will have heard the word when I say it, but you may not know what it actually is. It's not working. Whatever the paint has etched in on here, it actually has eaten in right through the clear coat, right under the paint, and it's been obviously doing that over the years with the heat, so it doesn't matter how much we actually sand it or buff it. Basically, below that paint, if you imagine the layers, the actual cracks and basically the oils and the glue from the actual stickers has eaten into the paint. So I'm really struggling to get this to stay where it needs to be. So every time we machine it, it basically goes, it looks absolutely flawless. 20 minutes later, it comes back because the heat has dispersed. So I'm going to do it one more time. The truth is, I know this is now not going to fix. This is like the 10th time we've done it. So I do know the truth is this is not going to be perfect. Now, outside you can't actually tell that it's really there, you've got to look for it, but under the studio lights, the way we have our lights set up, you can tell that this is here, and it's quite annoying, and I'm a bit annoyed that I can't physically get it any better, so we may have to put stripes back on. But what I'm actually going to do right now is we're going to do something called mopping. Now this is using a really old technique. This is when I started like learning to buff back in 1998. This is an old school type of wool head, and they're very aggressive, very dangerous. They cut the paint really fast, as in you take a lot of layers of the paint off. They can burn the paint quite quick, and it will leave buffer trail and horrendous marks everywhere, so we're going to have to then build it down afterwards. But what they used to do back in the olden days, use a buffer at high speed, heavy grit, not really care what was on it, cut the paint, make it look absolutely mint. A week later you'll get buffer trail haze, it'll look absolutely horrendous, but at least it'll look good to start with. But this is the only way I'm going to be able to try and bring some of that heat out, because what we're actually aiming to do now is to pull whatever has eaten into the paint to the top of the surface, so I can reduce it even more. And you can only do that by actually pulling the heat from it and actually pulling it to the top of the surface. So we're trying to basically manipulate the clear coat and try and warm it up so that it flattens itself as it comes up, if that makes sense. It is risky, we've done it a lot of times. It's something we have to do sometimes with bird lime and when we've wet sanded. It's a really risky procedure. This is going to take me half an hour to do this, and then at least an hour to get the buffer trail from it, because you won't see that for days, and I need to obviously fix that before it even appears. So this is the last chance really now to do this. We're going to spend half an hour on that, and that is literally where we're going to have to leave the bonnet, unfortunately, and it'll be whatever it is. I'm hoping you're not going to see a great deal, or it will get rid of 90% of it, because we're not going to get it perfect. But we can't afford to spend any more time on the bonnet, because we need to finish the roof off and then get on both sides and the bumpers before we actually do the coating. So we just need to get this to the best we can. And again, this is something we do at Inspire. We're not going to lie about things, we're not going to get fancy angles. I could have taken a video where I've just buffed this panel now and it looks absolutely flawless, and I could have literally let that go as it is and you'd have thought it would have been immaculate, so would the client. But the truth is, it is going to come back slightly, and I can even see a bit of colour loss here from this already. So let's get on with that now, and let's just see what we can get from it and get the best results we can. So it's not really the result we're wanted. It's quite annoying that only one side has actually damaged the paint with this graphics. It's bizarre. You generally find it be the same, because these are the standard factory stickers from BMW or from Mini. So I don't know why one side has eaten away at itself. You know, it's something in the glue that's been quite toxic and obviously eaten away over the years. So it's not the result we wanted, as I said. Let's just get the best result we can. Hopefully it won't come back much more, and you never know. We may get a finish that you can't tell those marks that are even under our light, and if we can, that is the winner. That's what we want. So we're back up in the next stage now. I'm going to skip a few bits of video, guys, because I really need to focus on getting that actually done, and I'm going to refine that bonnet now and make sure no buffer trail actually appears from it in the next few weeks. Now, I don't want to curse myself, but I actually think we've got it. I've just shown you on the video there how close I've actually got. I've got different angles, I've pulled away from it, I'm not hiding anything. and I actually think we've managed to draw all of the bad clear coat out from the paint to the top of the surface and then actually refine it. Now, there is a couple of tiny marks here, I'm not going to lie. They're only just visible, but the truth is the more we keep cutting on here, the worse that the actual paint seems to be because it's under layers. So while I've got it to such a good finish, and this is the only little mark here, and you're not actually going to even see it on camera, I'm going to have to really find it for you. I'm going to leave this as it is because I don't want to make it worse and have to go back to where we started from. So at the minute, this actually looks flawless. And I'm really impressed with it, and I actually didn't think that was going to come out the way it was, and I really hate mopping and using that much heat, especially when it's 40 degrees today. The bonnet and the buffer are really overcooking themselves straight away, so any of you details out there that are working, especially outside, you will know how much stick your buffer's actually getting today, and it's really causing problems. So for that, I'm going to leave it. We're now jumping back on the roof to get some more bits done on there because there's still a few fine sort of Freddy Krueger type scratches in the top of it. Then it's going up on the ramp. We're going to get the sides done, and then tomorrow and Thursday, Friday, we're going to be putting the frame across, the heaters on, and we're going to be ceramicing this, and I'm probably going to come out 7 or 8 stone lighter. See on the video I've just put up there, it is quite hard to actually catch it. I can get kind of some really bright solar lights on to highlight it, but it makes it kind of more obvious than it really is. I don't want to kind of trick anything. We have this whole side is quite badly marked, and I think it's just out of brambles and general bush marks, and it happens, as you're probably aware with our videos, we always seem to see this side gets worse. A bit surprised on a Mini because of the size of it. I didn't think this would be that much different, but down here we have got some seriously bad grazers. Not sure what they are, but they're very consistent and they are quite deep. So that's what I've just tried to show you on camera, but we're going to end up cutting all this. We've had the wet sanding pads out because we've done the bonnet. I'm probably going to have to do the same on this now to get this side finished, but you know, so far the car's coming up really well. I think it's going to be a massive, well I know it's going to be a massive improvement, and I think you're going to see a big difference on the before and after videos that we put up while you're watching the video. So I'm going to start cutting this. I'm going to get some more footage probably tomorrow, but let's see if we can get this panel sorted before we go over tonight. Now I don't want to curse it, still, there is a little bit of etching that's just come back this evening on here. It's only really just visible, and I'm not prepared to do any more work on it because we're making the paint too thin. But the finish, to be fair, looks absolutely incredible, and I am being picky to be able to find it, so it's really not obvious at all. And I think we've got that to the level that we can really kind of deal with, and it's acceptable without causing any more problems getting it too hot. The bits we are going to work on now, as we finish the car side of things, is things like the pillars. I've just done that side there, I'll show you them quickly. We're just about to spend another sort of 25 minutes on this one, probably half an hour on this one, getting it right as they are extremely bad. And I'm going to show you now, in part of this video, kind of a before and after, just on this side, which is the passenger side that I haven't done, and the driver's side, which we have done. So what I'm going to do here, guys, just to give a little bit of a kind of an insight on the job we're working on this week, which the video will be up in a few days. I'm going to restore this trim that you can see here, which is on a new Mini, and as you can see, even though it's fairly new, it's gone really grey and faded. Now, not only have we obviously been going 23 years, probably the most established in Yorkshire, we've got a lot of tips and tricks when it comes to doing things like this, and we know how to prep them before we just put the coating on. So this hasn't just going to have a coating on it. I've actually prepped this panel and I've fully cleansed it prior to putting the coating on to get the best results. I'm also not just going to use a typical generic ceramic or even something like Ceramic Pro's top coat, which will work on this. I'm actually going to use the specific product for it, which is Ceramic Pro plastic, and that is something we do as part of our job. So what I'm actually going to do is we've used dedicated plastic on all the trims. Obviously the dedicated products for each area, like the wheels are currently off in the car, we're going to be doing them later on, but we're going to be doing them with wheel and caliper. But I'm going to use a dedicated product, which means we have probably 10 or 15 different ceramic bottles available at a time, and I'm going to restore this trim. Now I'm going to quickly show that on a video, I'm going to speed it up for you. The one thing I'm going to highlight and not lie about is this will go, or I expect this to go really dark really quick and look absolutely incredible. The truth is that will fade slightly. It won't stay that dark because this has faded so bad anyway. So even when we do 2 or 3 layers over the next couple of hours on here, it will not stay as dark as it initially looks when this is on. And that's something I'm not going to hide on a video and make it look like we're super impressive and we've just restored this to the incredible levels. It will fade slightly, it will look darker, it will look like it's actually got a trim on it, because at the minute this looks pretty dead. If I'm honest, it looks quite bad and it spoils the car. But I'm not going to lie and say it's going to look perfect. It will massively change the colour, but it was going to fade, so bear that in mind, and I'll try and get that on camera as well. So I'm now going to show you the true finish of what you're going to get by using even the proper ceramics on this type of trim, because the reality is it's not a pitch black trim anyway, and it had oxidized and faded quite badly. So I'm going to show you what the real result is, not what it looks like when you first put the coating on, like a lot of people do, where they just blather it on, take a video, and it looks absolutely amazing. This looks great, it really suits the car, but this is the true result. So as you can see, it's more of a satin finish as opposed to a gloss black finish, and that's the true result you're going to get from those trims. I'm now going to get the rest of the car finished, we're going to get the videos and a montage done, and you can actually see the end result of how this Mini has really transformed itself, especially that gloss black roof.